In this episode of OG55, I am joined by Mr. Theme Park Wizard Slimer and the Italiano. We're talking more about HHN at Universal. The Italiano and I recently went over there, blew our minds. Really incredible experience. We're going to talk about that, break that down. We're also going to talk about these animatronics over at Epic Universe, the Universal monsters. They're making waves. We're gonna look at the footage. We're gonna break it down, talk about it up next on OG55. Welcome aboard, everybody, to another episode of OG55. This is OG55 Universal Edition. We're talking all about Universal, HHN, and Epic Universe. Before we dive right in, the Italiano, welcome back, sir.
Always glad to be back and talking shop with you fellas, whether it's park, studio, corporate, all that good jazz. So, yeah, it's always a good time.
Yep, absolutely. If you let everybody home know where they can find you on social media and why you're wearing a green shirt like I am.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, you can find me on social media on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base at Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
Absolutely. And right below me, we have Mr. Theme Park Wizard. Wizard and I had a fantastic time at the parks on Sunday with our friend Jalen's family, which I absolutely love it.
And OG saved $600, so stay tuned for a future video for that.
Absolutely. Long story, but yes, I saved $600. But really good time. But Mr. Wizard, if you could let everybody home know where they can find you on social media and how they can subscribe to you on YouTube.
You can follow me on Theme Park Wizard everywhere, including Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, and then YouTube. And also stay tuned because I just got approved I start my training soon I will become an official travel agent. So if you want to book your trips with me at Sean's company, we're going to be coworkers. Shout out to Ranking the Mouse. You can do that. Details soon.
There it is. Very exciting news coming from Wizard. That's awesome, Wizard. We will definitely keep everybody in the loop once that is materialized, as they say. Mr. Slimer, it is good to have you back on, brother. We always love having you on the show. It's been a little while. How you been?
I'm doing well. Thanks very much. I was just telling George right before the podcast, this is considered like an official monthly meetup. You know, I'm so busy nowadays, but thanks for having me back on. I'm excited to talk HHN. Wizard, you're finally becoming what you're always meant to be, and that is an official travel agent for a theme park. So congratulations on that, sir.
Thank you.
Congratulations on George. Ladies, he's officially off the market. So
that's right. So stop pursuing him or else I'll have to come get you.
I'm telling you, man, this guy's DMs are blowing up. You know, he's taken.
Well, now that he's taken, he's getting more messages than ever. You know, that's how ladies work. But yeah, so you guys can find me right here on Orange Grove 55, and you can find me on X at Slime Square 84.
There he is. All right, guys, let's talk. We'll start off with HHN, and then we'll dip into these animatronic monsters over there at Epic Universe. So George and I went to HHN the other day. About a week now, actually. I can't believe it's almost been a week.
Yeah, crazy.
It's wild. And I got to say, I said this in part 1 of our video. I don't care about horror movies. I don't even really give a hell about Halloween, to be honest with you. I don't really celebrate. I never get dressed up.
Me too.
Right, whether we're see eye to eye with that, you know. So I haven't been to Halloween Horror Nights since I was like barely out of high school. I was like 19 or something, right? I don't really remember any of it, right? So I really went for the friends, my family, right? You know, the Italiano, Ebba, Abby, you know, I went for you guys, right? But I didn't expect much from this event. I have to say, and I call a Slimer, I told you, bro, I said, I walked out of HHN, I felt like a new man. I felt like I got a blowjob and a haircut. I felt amazing. It was incredible, an incredible experience.
I just want to say OG. So now you've been here, and Georgia was your first time too, at least in Hollywood, right?
Yes.
So this is because I always say to people, I don't have little kids, so it's different. But Oogie Boogie Bash is $169. Okay.
Mhm.
Now I know you guys had express passes, but without express, if you go in September, HHN for the same experience is $69. See, and that's why when people say, "Why don't go to Oogie Boogie Bash?" I'm like, I can't justify the extra expense.
I'm with
Oogie Boogie
you.
Bash.
I'm
Or
with you,
Horror
man. Like, yeah, I look, man. Halloween Horror Nights has gotten exponentially more expensive over the last couple of years. For the longest time, I think it was for like a decade, you used to be able to get a ticket for like $59.99 or $49.99. Then within the last like 5 to 7 years, the demand just skyrocketed, and now it's like $80, $70, $80 minimum, and then on like the peak nights, it's $100. All right, so, but even at $100, it is still a vastly better deal and a better experience than Oogie Boogie in almost every conceivable way. Like, I look at the videos of Oogie Boogie, and it's not for lack of trying. And the same thing with Mickey's Not So Scary. I look at those events, I'm just like,
Well, OG and I did actually both Oogie Boogie and Halloween Horror Nights
On the same week.
on the same
Which
week.
is crazy. Yeah,
Mhm.
direct
Mhm.
comparison. See,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so literally, I mean, we had a great time at Oogie Boogie.
Yeah.
Sure,
It was
sure.
great.
that's fun.
But when you put it to the comparison of what was offered at HHN,
Yeah.
I think what Disney's issue is, and again, I know that they like to keep things kind of the same way of repetitive each year to give people a chance to experience it, but that's also detrimental because then
Mhm.
you're raising the prices, but you're not adding anything to. Yeah, there's times
Right.
when they swap
In
out.
some cases, you're taking away because remember, we don't have World of Color Villainous anymore.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And it's
Mhm.
like you have Villains Grove, which is cool, but they've had that every single year and it's the same thing. Like, how many times can you pay to see something the same, but the price keeps on going up? They swap out villains here or there, but this year we got Dr. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb. It's like, it's basically an inside out uncircumcised dick for his head.
Wow. no, so I'm glad we're keeping it family friendly tonight. I'm glad we're keeping it family.
Are you officially throwing in your support for Israel?
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So here's the thing. Like, I love Oogie Boogie Bash. Obviously, I've said it many times. I'm a big Disney bias guy. I prefer Disney. I definitely do, right? But I don't have kids. So for me, Boogie Bash, if you have kids, Oogie Boogie is the place to go. Oogie Boogie's
fantastic.
Right? For the kiddos, it's amazing. I'm not a kid. I don't have kids. HHN was amazing, dude. I mean, going through those mazes, which were really well themed, really well executed, down to even like the universal like smell scientists who came up with those smells, like in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre maze.
Oh man.
Dude, it's insane how gross it was, but it made it so realistic. But I was loving it, going through there, getting all freaked out. We were laughing, having a good time. Dude, you're walking around the park. It's all people like our age. There was dude, single guys. I'm telling you, bro, there were baddies.
There's a lot of. It's a different vibe at age, a different crowd level, different crowd in general. And you guys haven't been to Not Scary Farm, have you?
Never.
No.
Oh, see, so next year, I'll tell you something. And I love it, Halloween Horror Nights, but Not Scary Farm blew me away. It's even cheaper than Horror Nights, and then it just blows you away. The mazes are not as scary in my opinion, but there's this fog everywhere, and there's monsters come out of the fog. The whole park is a scare zone. It's insane, and they have so many
That's funny that you
shows.
say that, Wizard, because there was like a section in Universal that does have like a little bit of a fog. So if the fog is everywhere in that, because you couldn't see like what was in front of you, then all of a sudden you'd have like a scarer just like pop out of nowhere.
Yes, like Knott's, like Ghost Town, it's completely can't see anything. It's wholly full of fog, which is insane. So we should all go next year because, like I said, it's even cheaper than Horror Nights. It's like literally $50 up you buy online. Super fun. It's amazing. You'll be blown away.
No,
and I would say the set designs are just as big in a lot of ways.
Yeah. It's the mazes, they're wider, so it's not a little less claustrophobic for people, but and it's all themed. There's no black. Universal has some black walls sometimes. A complaint for some people. I don't really care, but the what should we call it? Knott's they keep the same mazes a lot, but that's incredibly well themed, and the whole park is like total vibe. Love Knott's. I love HHN, but they're like almost tied, but they're very good.
So George, I want to ask you and OG, I want to ask you guys. I don't remember if you guys said it that you guys did the HHN video a couple days ago where you guys did a deep dive into your experience. So this was y'all's first time doing Express Pass, right?
Oh yeah.
All right. So like lay it on me. Like, all right, you guys have experienced it now. So now you have that objective point of comparison between, the lightning lane that we've been experiencing so far, where you have to book a slot, your time slot. Now we have the Premier Pass that's up and coming. That just, that premiered yesterday, I believe. And then today it premiered in Walt Disney World. What are your guys' thoughts on Express? Did you guys like the value? Did the price bother you?
First we do have to say that the type of tickets that we had were gifted to us, so we didn't actually put like out of our own pockets.
Now, just to be clear, from a friend, we're not getting any special access, just so people know. Okay.
Daddy Iger would be very upset if Comcast would have given you some free stuff.
Of course, yeah.
We need to clarify that. Wizard is right. We don't want to upset Bob and Dana. So just to be clear.
But they were gifted to us, but the price tag for those was about $350 each. But here's the thing though. I would be willing to put $350 out of my own pocket to get that pass again, because it allotted you to enter the park at 2 p.m., which was about 5 hours before the event even starts.
Right. Yeah,
you get early access to two of the houses. I believe it was Ghostbusters and Insidious, I believe. And you get express for each of the attractions, including all the shows, all the haunted houses. And I have to say, when they say an express pass, they don't even give you a chance to even catch your breath, to even stop to think, is this even a good idea? We should be going into this. Literally, as soon as you go through the line, boom, you're like right there to go to enter in. And we bypassed, like it said it was like 40 minutes, but there were some of those lines that literally looked like they were like 2 to 3 hours long.
We hit every single maze. We did the late show with Chucky, which was absolutely amazing. We'll get into that in a second. We did the Purge. I mean, we hit, I think, pretty much everything. And we didn't wait in any lines. I mean, it was like walk on with that Express Pass. Express Pass is the superior ride skipping service.
100%.
Disney needs to adopt this. See, the thing is, with Lightning Lane Premier, they're like trying to do the Express Pass thing. But when you have the $30 Lightning Lane people in the line with you, it defeats the entire purpose. You can't layer this system onto that system. It doesn't work. They have to get rid of multi-lane or multi-pass?
Multi-lane, individual Lightning Lane.
Single multi.
Because even when Abigail had brought it to my attention, and she used Indiana Jones as an example, if the outdoor line queue for standby line isn't filled for Indiana Jones, the multi-lane isn't worth it, because by the time you get into the temple, you're intermixed with everybody anyway. The majority of the time that you're waiting in line for Indiana Jones, you might as well should just bite the bullet and spend an extra 20 minutes outside in the outdoor line queue before you even enter the temple.
Yeah, I was really impressed by the Express Pass. I mean, we were just walking on everything, dude. And it's perfect because it's expensive enough where it blocks people out. Not everyone wants to spend $300 or whatever it is, right? So there's not a lot of volume, a lot of people in that system. But when the people that do spend the money, they get a huge amount of value, So I fell in love with it, dude. I mean, the whole experience was fantastic. Go ahead, Wizard.
What time did you finish? Like all the houses, I'd say.
Okay, I'm glad you clarified. You actually meant the event when I.
Yes, the house of the event.
We don't want to get too personal into George's. But I think it was. Correct me if I'm wrong, Italiano. I would say, because I left around midnight, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we were there for like about another 45 minutes after you left.
But the mazes were done before I left.
Oh, the mazes. Oh, just the mazes. Oh, geez. Yeah, we finished the mazes
like 11, maybe
11ish, because we did the Purge after we finished all the mazes.
I asked because Universal sells an after 11 p.m. Express Pass for only $60. So usually after that time, the express lines only during Horror Nights can get a little filled. So I want to see if that affects you, but you're already done by that time.
That's right, because
So
the Purge show that we saw was at 11:15.
Gosh,
So we
okay.
had to finish the houses before 11.
Gosh, okay,
Yeah.
so that didn't affect you. So yeah, so you had a good time. That was I like that.
Oh, it was perfect.
The price for it is definitely steep, but you definitely get your money's worth with that.
How refreshing was it that you guys didn't have to utilize your phone to book a lightning
And
lane
the book at time.
or book a
Yeah.
time? And the only time you ever had to look at your phone was maybe to look at a line wait time, which I know that down here on the Universal Studios Florida app, you have the ability to see what the wait times are. And of course they have the wait times posted here as well, like in the park itself. But the need to just, I mean, like the only time I ever pulled out my phone at Halloween Horror Nights is if I wanted to take a picture or if I wanted to, place a quick order. And that to me is the way to go. I don't care what it costs, right? I mean, obviously I have a limit. Most people have a limit. I'm not made out of money, but whether it's expensive or whether it's a really good value, the phone staying in the pocket, except for taking pictures and maybe placing, a quick order here and there, is the right way to do lightning lane, full blank. I mean, like full stop. It's not even a question.
And it's a shame, really, because that was the route that Disney always took. It was like they wanted people to stay off their phones. Now they're encouraging you to use it, and it really is. We didn't have to touch. We didn't even have to pull out our phones at all, except for as you had mentioned, Slimer, to take a photo or what have you. But for me, also too, it's when you utilize. Now, for me, I don't utilize the multi-lane thing. Like I have the opportunity that I go to the parks very often, that it's like if I get on something, I get on it. If I don't, I just kind of go with the flow with the day. But there are people that utilize Disney as a once in a lifetime trip, or maybe not visit maybe every 5-6 years. So for them, it's crucial. So they have to utilize the special access. But how really special is it when you're constantly looking at your phone, you're integrated into the standby line where you're really not even getting any kind of perk for it? Where if you go to Universal, again, I am Disney biased. I'll always prefer Disney over that, but Universal definitely has that one up over Disney.
Yeah. Oh no, 100%. It was a beautifully executed system. I loved it. It was amazing. So let's get into the mazes a little bit. Now, Slimer, you've been to the mazes over in Orlando, right?
Right. Yeah. I have not yet done Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood. I've done Halloween Horror Nights Florida, about 11 or 12 different events, but never Hollywood. Wizard actually invited me out. I wasn't able to make it, but next time we'll have to do a swap-a-roni. So like you guys will come down here, do this one. I'll go over there, do that one. And, we get to, meet in the middle and talk about it.
Now, there was also, that they were mentioning, kind of going back a little bit to Disney's Halloween events, that they're sending out surveys to kind of get people's kind of like pique their interest of like what new offerings they could add. Because they were talking about adding a potential maze for Oogie Boogie Bash.
I heard about that.
Entertainment kind of stuff. So it definitely seems like Disney is kind of going that route to say, okay, well, how far can we really go with the same stuff before people just get tired out of it?
Well, that goes back to the point you were making earlier, George, is that Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, for all intents and purposes, is the same event every single year and has been for over 15 years with no new offerings, except for maybe like little changes here and there. They might put a light bulb under the tree this year as opposed to not last year. and because of that, it's completely understandable that they lose the market share that they're losing, if they're losing any market share at all, towards an event like Halloween Horror Nights. Kids these days, they're not they're a lot more desensitized to action and thriller and horror movies and suspense than we were back in the 1970s and 80s. And like, let's face it, kids like this stuff. They might not tell you directly, but your 12 and 13-year-old is probably sneaking in a Friday the 13th movie or a Jason movie. And, they like to go to these types of events, which is like, if you go on a Friday or Saturday night, it's very common to call Halloween Horror Nights like a daycare drop-off center. I don't know how it is over there in the West Coast, but here Fridays and Saturdays is considered HHN daycare. But like that being said, the one great thing about Halloween Horror Nights is the mazes change 95% of the time on a yearly basis. They're always bringing in new IPs, new original houses. They might have like one IP that has multi-year experience, like, they do Walking Dead for 3 or 4 years. They'll do Halloween for a couple years consecutively. But for the most part, you're getting a new experience every year, which is going to guarantee that you're going to get a high value, even if you go on an annual basis. So from that perspective, I think, for somebody like me, it's a much better value because I get to experience something different. Even if they bring back an old IP, I mean, like, who knows how many times they brought back Halloween or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which you guys had the opportunity to do. It's always different than the last time they did it. So from that perspective, that's why Halloween Horror Nights is always in my playbook, where, Oogie Boogie or Mickey's Not So Scary, really just kind of isn't. But
now, can I ask really quick? Sorry to cut you off, Wizard, but can I ask you both? Because OG and I have been talking about this as well. And Wizard, I know that you haven't been to Walt Disney World in a while, but I just want to get your overall thoughts on it as well. But when it comes to the newer lands that's going to be eventually coming to Magic Kingdom with Villains and the Cars area, Cars Land, they kind of go all out with the like the Halloween, and then of course adding the Villains area can bring in a whole slew full of different offerings during the Halloween events. Do you feel like that could be a one-up for Disney, or do you think that could still be kind of detrimental depending on how well they execute it?
Go ahead, Wizard. You start us off, and then
Yeah, I think at least with the villain stuff, I think they can really go all out for the Halloween parties over there and extending it over there, and just normal Halloween decorations, because it's villains. You have to, because you can do some really. You can even market that area specifically towards more of a, like, tween or teenager type of vibe, going, because it's like spookier and darker. So it could give them an excuse to go a little, just a touch scarier in that specific land. And Cars Land, of whatever the one they're doing now, yeah, our Cars Land is great. I'm sure they can do some of these decorations and make some creative, cute decorations for a family-friendly honking Halloween over there. And they're gonna have to do something, because, as Alicia Stella told me when she was on my channel a while ago, phase 2 of that Celestial Park is gonna include a massive like events building, and that building is not only for like Christmas and stuff, but Universal is gonna try to start a family-friendly Halloween event at Epic Universe to target that audience. Since they have Halloween Horror Nights at the current parks, they want to get that family-friendly Disney type audience to come to Epic Universe for an event. So Disney's, at least in Florida, is going to have to really step up or change up the game, so they won't lose that to the Epic when that opens, I think, in 2026 or something.
That's pretty aggressive.
Yeah, it is. What say you, Slimer, about what Italiano was asking about
What was
the
the
new
question
additions? Go ahead, George.
With the Villains and the new Cars area coming to Magic Kingdom, do you think that could be a better game changer for Disney during like the Halloween events? Or do you think, depending on the execution, it could also be detrimental?
Or also, is it just a demo thing, kind of, right?
Yeah. I think it really depends on the execution. I mean, I think Villains Land is going to be themed. It's going to be themed to darkness and evil year round. I mean, that's like the core underpinning of the entire land itself. So for it to change outside of that would completely it'd be like a complete retheme, you know what I mean? Now, if it goes darker for Halloween, I think that'd probably be pretty cool. Do I think they're going to integrate it into like a separate ticketed event? I think I would probably be more interested to see how they would incorporate that into Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. And maybe that's the refresher that Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party needs, right? So like once Villains Land is open, I don't care so much about what they theme in Cars. I like what they do over in Disneyland with Cars. I think that's great. I don't think they should necessarily replicate that here, but what I think they should do is I think they should make Villains maybe like the epicenter of Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. I mean, and you can keep a lot of core elements like, the ghosts and the front lawn of the Haunted Mansion. You can do the inauguration of the parade with the Headless Horseman. You can still do, the Boo to You parade. I think all that's fine. And, for traditionalists, I think that they're probably going to want to keep a lot of those elements because that's what they expect every year. The one thing I'll say about Disney folks is Disney folks, they want new things, but Disney folks also like consistency too. And they don't like a lot of change, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you got to like thread that needle between keeping what people like about Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, but then incorporating how, like what Villains Land would bring to the event, but while keeping it not so scary. Otherwise what they would have to do is they'd have to find a way to do maybe like a tween event where it's just Villains Land and something a little bit more adult like, and then try to incorporate that in the days in between Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. Mm-hmm. And if the popularity turns out to be high enough, they might be able to find the justification to close down regular park hours more often earlier in the months of like September through October, because usually they close at 5 o'clock to get ready for Mickey's Not So Scary. So they would have to find more days to close the regular park early to have like a villains event. And I think they do have the ability to do that, especially if, George, like you said, if the execution's on point, they could have 2 Halloween events at Magic Kingdom to compete with Universal's 2 Halloween events, if that's the direction they're going to go. Because if they're going to bring a family event to Celestial Park, Universal's got to either do something in Hollywood Studios or have 2 events at Magic Kingdom.
Now, where Disney could possibly go wrong with villains, and they have to be very careful, is what happened with Galaxy's Edge. Because when they have like the Star Wars nights and they have those all special offerings that you can't find anywhere else with Star Wars, well, they're not going to incorporate it in the everyday park operations, because then they're losing out on the special ticketed offer. So if they do that with villains, then that could potentially leave a beautiful land, but no meat and potatoes in it, like they did with Galaxy's Edge when they tried bringing out the Scar Bruiser.
Scar Bruiser.
That obviously, didn't end up working, because again, it's all these extra add-ons,
right?
And you have a land like Galaxy's Edge that is breathtaking. It's beautiful, the rock work, the details and everything, but it's like, what good is that when you have nothing to show for it?
Well, I think that's the fundamental issue in Wizard and OG. Like, that's the fundamental issue between a Halloween Horror Nights and a Mickey's Not So Scary to Boo to You, right? Like, so if you go to Halloween Horror Nights, the difference between the actual, the ticketed event and a regular park day is massive. Like, you get the houses, you get the themed foods, you get the horror tram. But then the difference between like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party and a regular ticketed day is the Boo to You parade, the Halloween fireworks show, the Hocus Pocus show, and like that's it.
Some meet and greets, right? Yeah,
and some meet and greets, and like that's it. You know what I mean? And you get unlimited trick or treating. You're great. That's all I need is more diabetes.
Right, I know, right? Exactly.
I will say that just one last thing that I have to say about Cars Land during Halloween. That land is so raunchy and perverted, because when you go on like the versions for Mater's Junkyard Jamboree and the Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters, like the songs, when they change the overlays, they're talking about like treats in your trunk, and I'm like, damn,
we like them thick.
It is California Adventure,
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So let's go around. I'm going to talk a little bit about the mazes with you guys. Wizard, you did Hollywood HHN, right? You've done that this year. So what was your favorite maze of HHN this year?
My favorite one, because I love his music, is The Weeknd. I love that one.
Really?
Now that I understand this, now that I understand the storyline of it, he's making a Frankenstein monster of himself. I like it more because I actually get what's happening. It's very hard to understand what's happening if you're not like told what's happening.
I mean, I do appreciate your
I like the
but I mean, you're wrong.
I like the facade too. Certainly, I think my favorite facade of the year. And God, I just love that one.
Okay.
But I really like all the other ones too. I don't think it's very hard to find a least favorite this year because they're all like pretty. Oh, I think maybe the monsters, only because there's a lot of darkness in that one. But the parts where there's scenes, the monsters.
Actually, Wizard, we are like the complete opposite. Monsters.
That's your favorite.
Weekend was my least favorite.
So monsters. Monsters was your favorite. That's the one with the huge, like, I posted Wizard. You saw that thing where the giant face comes out of the wall. That's
No,
the monster one.
no. I'm talking about the one in down on stage 12, the Eternal Bloodlines one.
Oh, with the vampire chicks.
The vampire. Yeah, okay, I'm with
Monstros.
you with that.
I love that one.
I'm gonna get another beer. You guys know my answer. I'll be right back.
Monstros, no, the ones with the big puppets, I love that one. I've been through that one, I think, the most this year. Usually because I don't know why it always has a short wait time, but I love it. I mean, it's such a good one. But yeah, the only cool thing about the Eternal Bloodlines one is it was filmed in stage 12, which is where the actual Monsters movies were filmed. So it's cool to be in the stage where the actual like Frankenstein stuff was filmed way back in 1930.
No, that one I do agree with. I feel like that one was very lackluster. I think it would have been more attention giving to people going in there if they had all the women topless.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, yes.
Would have made a difference, absolutely. We need more treats in the trunk, you know what I'm saying, George?
Exactly.
But yeah, the monstrous one with the giant puppets, incredible.
Yeah, I mean, gorgeous.
Amazing. That's my favorite too. I love that one. But they were all so good. I mean, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one, when you have to go through those little hallways and you're moving like the animals,
the pigs, and the animal, that's. There's only one bad thing about that one. It's not even the house. It's the operations. That one, for some reason, they do like more of the conga line and just put everybody in there, and then they like push too many people at once. At least for the ones I've been. And then I find many people just stopping, and then it kind of ruins it for me. But I like the house itself. It's just the operations for that one needs to be a little bit better. I don't know what happened there.
Speaking of operations, so the first night over here, I don't know if they did it over there, Wizard, but over here they had a premium night the day before the actual official opening day of Halloween Horror Nights. And on that premium night, it was a limited ticket event. I think it was like $2.99 or $3.99 per person. It was the first time they ever did it. And you can go back on YouTube and you can watch the videos. All the vloggers, of course, did it because they got to do it for their channel.
Yes,
but there was nobody in the park. It was a fucking ghost town. But everybody that went said it was the best night they've had at Halloween Horror Nights of all time because they actually pulsed people through the house. And that to me is like the most important ingredient with these events is that. And of course, Halloween Horror Nights, like they can't help it. Like their product is so good. You can't, you got to get people through these houses as fast as possible without, injuring or compromising safety or compromising, the experience too much. But what I would like to see on an operational level is I would like to see more premium nights. They did one. I don't know if they're going to do it again here. But, if they have the ability to run like one premium night per week during the event, I would pay for that because these houses, like if you think they're good when you're Congo lining through them, they're even better, right? When there's nobody in front of you, nobody behind you, nobody to spoil the scare, and it's just you and the scare actors. You know what I mean?
Oh man!
And see, that's the thing. Usually here in Hollywood, and even this year, really just Texas. I don't know what's going on with the team over there, but every other house, they're doing a very good job with the pulsing. So there's been many times, especially like in Ghostbusters and in A Quiet Place, where I've just been our party have been like by ourselves, and there's like no one for like 50 feet because they're doing a pretty good job of the pulsing, usually in Hollywood. But I don't know, it's something with the team at Texas Chainsaw didn't understand that concept there. But yeah, it's definitely much better when you're like just in your own group versus a whole bunch of people stopping or lining up and just causing traffic, which is it kind of kills it. But did you guys have a pulsing? You guys had not a conga line, like a pulsing experience, right? OG, I imagine with most of them, you guys got
majority of them are because we were pretty close to most of the mazes. There were a few where OG and Ebba was in front of me and Abby, but majority of them we were in front of them.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the people that were in front of us, we were almost like
all I know is that I think I should have bought Ebba a drink because we got pretty close during those mazes. I'm telling you, man, some of that shit was like, what the hell? I mean, it was crazy, man.
That's why I love the terror tram. because
Oh
even
my
though that a
God,
lot
yeah.
of people were together, everyone just kind of broke off and separated at their own pace because there's enough
Mhm.
Yeah.
room. So you don't know like what's going to jump out at you at what time.
Slimer, I'm telling you, bro, this Terror Tram, dude, Universal is insane, bro. They're insane. So you take the tram, right? And I was expecting Terror Tram to be like you're on the tram tour, basically, but like zombies pop out and try to attack your tram. No. The tram takes you to like this like location, right? And there's like these, it looks like maybe like an old Western town or something, right? And you pull up to it, and all you see is Megan standing there. And she's doing
dancing.
yeah, she's dancing like this. And she's alone. She's alone, right? So the tram tour guy says, all right, everybody, this is your stop. And they open the gates. And all of a sudden, all these like these crazy like zombie dudes with like chainsaws and like machetes like pile in behind Megan. And there's like 30 of them now. And you have to walk through that to get into this thing. Oh my God, bro. I was like, this is insane, dude. So you're seeing all these people, right? It's so intimidating. You know, they can't hurt you, right? But it just feels like it's crazy. It was, dude, it blew my mind. We're walking through this. Oh, totally. And we're walking through this thing, dude. And it's like, they're coming at you with the chainsaws and the machetes and the axes, dude. Incredible. And they come like this close to your face. A wizard, maybe you'll know this, right? It's amazing to me how skilled these scare actors are, right? Because they can run up to you, take this thing, whatever it is, whether the machete, I know they're not like real, but they're still objects, and come right up to you to like this close and not hit you. But it has to take some level of skill to do that because you have to account for the person like freaking out and moving.
Yeah, speaking in the Ghostbusters, mate, the people that popped out of the walls, they got like this close. I'm like, oh, I had someone trying to go like, whoa, like that. It was like a little step back, and then one of them I accidentally hit in the thumb because I was like, oh shit, you're that close to me. I'm always impressed.
Normally, like when there's like a female scare that comes like that close to me, I just feel like Joey, like, how you doing?
Yeah. It was insane, man. It was insane. That Terror Tram was completely different concept than I was expecting. I mean, it was impressive.
What did you think of the A Quiet Place? Because I know that's like more of like has a lot of animatronics. So that like,
was more for me. That was more not scary, but more interesting to kind of see the animatronics in that sense.
Because they're like huge and they keep coming out at you. And then like there's no like music, but like there's still like sounds. Like I like how they pump the sounds like they made the illusion of there's more monsters coming close to you with the speakers in the trees, but there's like nothing there. It really is still immersive without any music. It was good. I think they did a pretty good job on that.
Eben and I were talking, and we were kind of like going back and forth with like ideas whether they used the actual IP, but we kind of came up with it would be really cool if they did kind of like off of like Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, where you have like dinosaurs, like where you're like kind of like how that one is in Monsters, OG. Like it has like that puppetry look to it, and you just have like dinosaurs, like raptors and different things like popping.
Well, see, a long time ago, before I even went, they had a Jurassic Park like maze in the extended queue over there by Jurassic Park, and they should bring that back.
Bring it back. Come on, Universal. Let's make it happen, Captain. Let's make it happen. And by the way, Slimer, that Ghostbusters maze was pretty dope too. They had some really cool Slimer figures in there. It was fun, man.
Oh, I know the house was dope. You know what I mean? Like, hey, but
was the car working for you?
The car?
Oh, yeah, for us,
okay, because that was like on and off. Or sometimes people miss it, but it's super cool when like the houses have like the actual vehicles like move. Like in the last show that The Last of Us, and they had a tank and it just moved along with you.
Now, was it supposed to have Wizard? Was it supposed to have like a cool effect, like where it's like certain areas would feel like it's
I don't. Oh, the Ghostbusters house in general.
Yeah.
So what happened was, and John Murdy, the director, he answered this the first week. The first week, as you know, he was like 112, or OG knows, like 112. Remember, it was really hot in September.
Yeah.
Busted the AC, and they can never get it back going. So it was supposed to be very cold in there, but the high heat just took it away before the house even opened.
Yeah, down here definitely had the cold effect. But you know that what really always gets me, and I'm never disappointed in Hollywood Horror Nights' ability to do this, is when you walk into a house and they just have these incredible facades that they have no business building. Like you walk in, like, wow, like they didn't have to do this, but it makes it so realistic because it's what overall contributes to the immersion and the feeling of you walking into the story. So there is very much a storytelling element into it, where they want the guests to walk into the film or the story, you know, if it's an original house. And like, you know, when I walked into the Ghostbusters house, for example, at least over here, you walk into the firehouse and they have almost, I mean, it's pretty big. I wouldn't say it's like, you know, a 1-to-1 ratio replica, but it's pretty huge. And you walk in through the double door, and then in the windows, they have Slimer flying around. There's a proton beam, and they have like, you know, like a car outside, like a New York car and all this. And I'm just like, they didn't have to do this, but it adds so much to the experience that it would be a disservice to every single story that they're trying to tell in these mazes if they didn't at least have one or two of these 250,000. I mean, these facades got to be like $250,000 easy.
Right.
Just this one facade is for like literally a 5-second experience. But then when you walk into it, you're just like, and I can guarantee you, look, like George and OG were just like, whoa, did you see that? And that's the payoff. You know what I mean? And it's a big payoff. It really is, because when you're walking through a 5-minute experience, like you have literally like 3 to 5 minutes to blow people away as they're walking through, and they're not going to see everything. Like how many times, and Wizard, you know, because you've already been multiple times, like you'll go through a house twice. Oh, I didn't see that last time. Oh, I didn't see that last time. Right? So they have to incorporate so many things to get your finite attention as you're walking through a house. And then when you go through a second time, like, oh, whoa, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. And so it just makes the story and the immersion and all the work that the teams did even better, because their attention to detail and the love of the story and trying to get everybody to experience the best house possible. It never recesses. Like it's always top tier year over year. But
yeah, big shout out and credit to the whole team, like John Murdy, you were saying, Wizard, and everybody involved with these mazes and the events in general. Huge shout out. I'm telling you, if you can convert OG, I don't give a fuck about Halloween, and
I know, right?
If you can convert me, your job.
And that's what we were doing. We were walking through those houses, even though that we were getting, you know, like jump scares and everything, but we were looking at the finer details, especially with the Monsters house, Ghostbusters, A Quiet Place. Like those, I think were like, they all were great, but I think those were the top 3 for me that had like the intricacy of details. You could just kind of like look for like those little hidden gems. But Slimer, I wanted to ask you, correct me if I'm wrong, because Universal Hollywood didn't have this, and I was a little bit disappointed with it. Wizarding World, do they have the Death Eaters walking around?
Yeah, they had them. They have them, and I'm kind of surprised that you guys don't have that.
Yeah,
it's funny. We had them every other year.
Yeah, that was the only thing that was disappointing. Like they had like the music pumped up, and they had like the special effects on Hogwarts and everything. But I think it would have been so cool just to have like the Death Eaters walking around.
Yeah,
really cool.
And it's interesting because we had them, the past couple of years, but this year we're supposed to have a Voldemort experience, but it didn't work out. It got cut or something. Something happened.
That would have been awesome.
And that's why I think the Death Eaters didn't come, because they're supposed to have this Voldemort thing and the extended queue for Harry Potter, but it fell through at the last second. So hopefully they can bring that back, because it sounded super cool from what I heard.
Yeah. That sounds dope. Now, before we pivot to these Epic Universe monsters, I want to dip into some of these shows a little bit, or HHN. That Late Night with Chucky was absolutely hilarious. I mean, the comedy in that show was so edgy, like way above and beyond than I thought would come out of a theme park, even Universal, to be honest with you. You can ask questions beforehand. I actually asked them, have you ever been to Disneyland? Because I thought they would poke fun at Disney. It would be kind of fun to watch. They didn't take the bait though. They didn't do that question, but they did ask, someone in the audience asked Chucky like Coke or Pepsi, and he said, well, it depends. Are we talking about drinks or? and he goes, if not, Coke. That was
no, the person in our show, and Sean and I went, someone talking about like 29 inches, and he's like, I don't know, I can put those 29 inches towards you. And I was like, oh, okay.
That's great. Was that you, George, behind the scenes voicing Chucky?
I think George was going over there.
What, 29 inches on my back.
There we go. Yeah. Well, I always tell people I'm 6 foot laying down. Kidding, I'm just kidding.
Just tell them you're a continental soldier, man. You just throw it over your shoulder.
It's like,
You can say, if you think my hair's this high.
right. Oh, there you go. Exactly. That's crazy. No, this show was so fun, dude. I had a blast with Chucky. An absolute blast with Chucky.
I'm still glad we experienced everything, but now experiencing everything, like for instance, like when we saw The Purge in Waterworld, I can honestly say that was like a one-time one and done for me, to be honest. I didn't really, it was nice, it was cool, but I felt like that the storyline of The Purge didn't fit the atmosphere of where the show was placed. The storyline didn't make no sense. The characters were kind of all over the place. You didn't know which ones were like the heroes, which ones were the villains, but I guess for The Purge, there really was no hero villain. It was like everybody out for themselves. But now knowing like, you know, what I like and what I don't, but the next time for HHN, I wouldn't mind trying to, I know the Express only works one time per attraction or ride or show.
Unless you get the unlimited version. It's a little extra. You can get the Express Unlimited for a little extra.
Oh, okay.
Over and over again.
Yeah, you can do it over and over again.
Because I wouldn't mind going to Chucky more than once to see how like different of the shows are.
Yeah. In fact, I'm telling you, next time we should all do for even a little bit more. He says $350. You guys think for $450, get the RIP experience and still go over and over again, but still get the free buffet, the valet parking, and and we got the special, which I was telling OG, but I didn't tell you, George. We got a special. It's my first time doing it. They take you from the upper lot to the lower lot on the special little bus, the VIP tour bus after the Terror Tram, and then they take you through the back lot, the New York sets in like complete darkness and tell you spooky stories. It's pretty cool. It's like a little mini studio tour at night, and then you can go whatever you want. And then
so for $550, do they add in the Van Helsing girls?
Yes. $550, you have to tip them.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. You got to tip.
There's nothing short about the tip. So
you know, you gotta get with the program and spend some dough, man. I'm just kidding. So yeah, no, Chucky was amazing. I absolutely love that show. That was fantastic. Yeah, Purge was cool, but I feel Waterworld is a much stronger show. The reason being is I think Waterworld has a lot of interactivity when it comes to like the water. They really hype you up pre-game, and it's fun, you know. But for a seasonal thing, I think Purge works. You know, it's okay. But
I love the part where they chop their heads off and the blood squirts everywhere.
That was good. And that's the kind of stuff that you'll never see at Disney, right? That's the kind of stuff that you go to Universal, you're like, okay, this is a Universal exclusive. No matter what, even if Disney does like Oogie Boogie Maze over at DCA, you're not going to get any of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of cool.
Or like the horror makeup show in Universal Florida. Like George and I did it for the first. George, it was you and I, right?
That was awesome. I really enjoyed that.
Dude, it's one of my favorite shows in Orlando. I've been going to Universal Studios since opening year, and I've never done the horror makeup show. I don't know why. Like I am defective like that when it comes to decision making. But
I think it also helped us for that decision too, because it was raining that day.
Right, that's right, dude. It was a torrential rain, and we're just like, hey, what do we do? We're just like, hey, let's go in here, check it out. Hey man, one of the best shows in Orlando. Not even gonna lie, and a lot of it is due to the fact that it's not stuff that you get in Disney. It's the complete opposite of Disney-fied. You know what I mean? Like it's got a lot of dirty jokes. A lot of it's improvised. It's a good show. But what the hell? Oh, okay.
It's Daddy Josh.
Yeah, I wish, right? One thing I'll tell you guys, and if HHN is something you guys plan on doing annually, is that and Wizard will attest to us, once you've done it once, now you're going to start chasing different ticket packages because there's different ways to experience HHN. Like he pointed out the RIP tour. That's one way to experience it. You can also do you can also do the backstage tour, the daytime tour, where you can go through like 5 or 4 houses during the day, and they explain to you how they build them and the concepting and all that stuff.
That one is Orlando exclusive, but for
Mhm.
Hollywood, if you have an annual pass, even if you never go to HN, if you have an annual pass, you can go do a lights on tour of a select house, which is pretty cool.
Right.
Oh, that's cool.
Select tour of like it was Quiet Place this year, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to do HHN, fellas. It's
As I said, I really
whole
wasn't.
thing.
Not that I wasn't interested, I was, but I guess it just kind of took a little bit of extra oomph to say, hey, I can get tickets. Would you like to come along, sort of thing? And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? And it's like, but now I got bit by the HHN bug, because now I want to actually experience.
I did.
those.
I just hope I'm still single next year, because that place out here, man. Wow, it was amazing. It was amazing, absolutely.
And next year, OG's gonna go and get his little haircut, and get a little shave, put on
You know
a
what I'm saying?
nice little dress shirt. It's like, I'm ready.
I'm ready. You got to prepare. I was not expecting.
Hey, before we go to Universal Monsters, I know you want to pivot. Did the Express Pass and the price, does it influence your opinion about the Premier Pass?
I thought you were going to ask something else. Premier Pass for Disney's.
Yeah,
Lightning Lane Premier. Oh yeah, it does. Well,
yeah, sorry,
here's
because
the
there's
thing.
like how many for Disney? It's like
Well, the Premier Pass would be fine if that was the sole system. But when you layer it on top of the multi-lane thing, so that's where it gets messy. You know what I'm saying? So it does. It impact. I'm telling you, it completely. I am a believer of Express Pass after experiencing that.
But I will say, as much as I enjoyed the houses, my perception of how much I really did enjoy the houses would have been based off of if I had Express or not. Because if I had to wait 3 hours in line for a house, I would have said, you know what, this was not worth my time. But because of that Express Pass, it was like, oh my gosh, this was freaking amazing, because it's like it gave you no time to even think about it.
Right. Now Wizard and I can go there without an Express Pass, and we can strategize all 10 houses, no problem. Yeah. But but the level of intricacy that's involved in that, you might as well be like a war general, because there's so much strategization that's involved in like stay and scream, and then doing the houses in order. And then are you gonna do the front houses or the back houses? Then are you gonna stay until 1:00 a.m. so that way you have the last hour, which is the slowest hour in the event, where you can knock out 4 houses. There's a lot of strategization that's required to do all the houses without an Express. Did I go on the right day? Are we there in time? Blah 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 blah. Or you just pay the $200-$300. You go, hey, here you go. Put me in the front of the line. Let's go. I don't got to think about it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, if you got the butter, spread it. You know what I'm saying? I spend the money.
I was just going to ask you, we are talking about money, right?
Yes, in this instance we are.
Before, I want to see George and OG. Did you saw the opening ceremony thing? Did you see that?
No,
we didn't see that.
Okay. Well, it was every 45 minutes. It's only like a minute, but it's super cool because all the monsters come out. It's by the fire towers area where those 2 shipping containers, and all the monsters come out, and there's like this lead monster. He goes, something, and we're coming for you. Then all of a sudden, there's a fire comes out, and then all spread into the audience. It's super cool.
That's dope.
I have to say, for those scare actors that are like intermixed within, like when you're walking from one location to the next, they intermix themselves within the crowd, and you don't see them until they're like right up, like right into your face.
And they'll tag team you too. Not that way, George, but
in the bad way.
Absolutely. All right, fellas. Yeah, HHN, excellent event. I will be back next year for sure. You got me sold. But let's dive into some of these epic universe monsters. So Universal releases pretty cool video. It's only a minute and like some change long. It's not too long, but honestly, you guys, this is impressive. This is very impressive. These are some animatronics for the new Monsters Unchained attraction over at Epic Universe. They released this quick little video.
Wait, before you start, I just wanted to give a little preface. So according to Alicia Stellar, she made a comment, I guess, because the Epic Universe model, which is like made in 2019. They updated some parts of it, but mass majority of it's from 2019. Some people noted how the extended queue of this attraction looked much more detailed on the model. And according to Alicia, she said they shifted. Actually, they gave this ride more budget, so they shifted the budget from theming the extended queue a little bit, and they added even more budget to make like even more animatronics for this ride, which I think was a great decision.
No, I agree. That's a smart allocation of funds. Look, money is not unlimited, even for a company like Universal or even for a company like Disney. Sometimes you have to make these decisions, and I think in that case, they made the right call. Absolutely. All right, here we go.
I am Dr. Victoria Frankenstein. Together, we will finish what my great-grandfather started. Show them.
Monsters Unchained has the most technologically advanced animated figures that have ever been built in the attraction.
These are monsters for the next generation of fans. We wanted to make sure that we kept everything that was familiar, kept everything that was the essence of these monsters. But we wanted to take it to another level. These monsters are scary.
Dude, I'm just shocked at how lifelike these animatronics are. Like, I'm serious when I say I mean, maybe the shaman for Na'vi River Journey, I guess, but I mean, or some of the stuff maybe in Tokyo Disney. I don't know, you guys. I mean, this rivals a lot of Disney's work, in my opinion. What say you, George?
I will say, yeah, because I feel like the shaman in the Na'vi River Journey, which basically took majority of the funds for that attraction because it's only like one attraction, but one audio animatronic, which is amazing. But I felt like that's an audio animatronic that was made for its time. Like now with technology progressing, I feel like this is the next generation for audio animatronics. And I feel like that Universal is kind of spearheading it. And really, Disney needs to be up on their game, especially with this kind of attention to detail and movement. And I was starting to mentioning it before the recording, but this is like the high quality level that Disney needs to be with that Walt Disney animatronic. That's going to be probably part for the 70th anniversary of Disneyland, because to match something up to this scale and to also pay honor and tribute to the man himself, I hope that's the route that Disney goes, because these audio animatronics are phenomenal.
They are. And you'll notice too, I don't know I think they use a different material for like human skin. I know Frankenstein, I mean, human, whatever. But I think they use a different material because these Universal animatronics don't look as, a lot of the Disney stuff in the face, kind of rubbery or something, like around the mouth and stuff. It has a little bit of a rubber kind of look to it. I don't see that as much here with these animatronics, which I actually really
I do wonder, because if Disney does that to try to give off more like cartoony effect, because I feel like most of that's like princessy, so maybe it's on purpose. I don't know.
That's a fair point, Wizard. Excellent point.
Knowing Universal, they're probably using real skin.
Probably.
Yeah,
exactly.
probably.
Absolutely.
These monsters are scary.
These animated figures are moving faster than all the figures we have built, and we have so many of them. We have 14.
Hey, look at that, dude. Okay, does that give you guys some Yeti vibes or what? Hold on.
These animated figures,
but it actually works.
Yeah, it actually. Hopefully, it's not built into the structure of the building.
Yes,
hopefully not.
But this is incredible. I honestly, I was not expecting this, you guys. I wasn't. I literally was not expecting this level of animatronic for.
Now there were rumors that I believe that they said that they were even going to implement some jump scares integrated into the queue itself. Like,
is that true, Wizard? Some
yeah, I heard those too. Yeah, that was there's even a rumor that, because they basically said this ride's kind of like basically like an HHN maze, like as a ride, right? So that there's rumors that like on the warning sign it will say not recommended for children under 13, like just like Halloween Horror Nights is, which makes sense. But like, can you imagine this? Because remember, this is the Kuka ride system, which is the forbidden journey, and what those benches can do, right? So imagine this guy coming grabbing, and your bench is like going up as this guy's grabbing you. This guy can be like maybe like 2 inches from your face, like. That's insane.
Dude, that is insane.
I'm gonna have to wear diapers on this ride.
I think so, man. Me too.
are moving faster than any figures we have built, and we have so many of them. We have 14 animated figures across this ride floor.
And
I love like the
I
love the texturing of the skin though on a lot of these figures. It looks different than the stuff that Disney uses. I can't pinpoint what it is. Go ahead, George.
No, I was very surprised that they were going to have 14 animated figures part of this attraction, because a lot of the times of the older attractions, at least for Disney, you had like maybe like 24 audio animatronics, but they weren't like this high level detailed. And as time progressed with technology, the number of audio animatronics started diminishing within each attraction, where you maybe got like the 7 dwarfs in Mine Train, or you just got the 1 shaman in Navi River Journey. So it's like we're only kind of like subdued to like maybe like half a dozen, if even. So to actually see 14 of these classic monsters in this attraction, that caught me off guard. I was not expecting it was going to be 14.
And so it'll be 14 on the ride, and then 1 in the queue. So it'll be like 15 total, which is insane.
That's amazing, dude. This is really impressive. This might be the show stealer for the whole park, this attraction.
And also, it's good to see the creature represented somewhere, finally. Look at that. I think it's the first time he's on in a ride or a show or anything. So, good job. Looks great.
Absolutely. And it pays homage to Universal's history. These Universal monsters kind of built that studio, So.
And I will say this because you just said that. Universal Monsters built the studio, and the studio's out here in California, so it doesn't have to be this ride exactly, but Universal, come on, bring these animatronics in some sort of ride to Hollywood. Even if you like replace stage 12 with a new attraction themed to the monsters, that'd be perfect.
I'll tell you, if this place is a hit, if this land specifically steals a lot of the thunder, and so far all the polling shows that this is going to be the most popular land, despite Super Mario World, Donkey Kong, Wizarding. I mean, all of the data shows that this is what everybody is going to go check out first and foremost. If it's a hit, it's absolutely coming to Hollywood, no question. With Disneyland Ford on the horizon, there is no doubt in my mind that this is going to go somewhere. Maybe Simpsons Land. I mean, that's where I'd put it if I were.
You never know.
They are visceral, they are powerful, they are intense, and from a technical standpoint, they exceed beyond everyone's wildest expectations for what an animated figure can do.
Unbelievable, dude. Unbelievable. Bro, and then even this Dracula, dude. Are you seeing this?
Hence, and from a technical standpoint, they exceed beyond everyone's wildest expectations.
Well done. I am seriously blown away by this stuff.
So for the Dracula segment, I guess in the concept, there's a whole bunch of bats, and so I guess the bench, the coffin you'll be sitting in, not only will the movements be upgraded, so it'll be like dropping, but there'll be like sensations, so you'll feel the bats on your neck type of thing, like in that scene.
Dude, they're doing like the Alien Encounter style.
Nice. Well, and what I love about them using animatronics versus what they did with some parts of Forbidden Journey,
with the screen,
is they're not using that screen technology, because George and I actually wrote that pretty recently, and the screen the screens themselves have become the issue in that ride, while the animatronics look relatively new, but the screens are just like atrocious.
And it allows for more movement, because with the screens you have to have a cover, so you can direct your attention towards the screen. But with all animatronics, you can go 360. It's less claustrophobic for people like OG and I, because there won't be a hood over us. And you can do more. You can have like a 360-degree like themed room instead of just a domed screen that you're forced to look at, which is cool.
Well said.
And this definitely will give Disney a run for their money when they're considering on what they're going to do for villains. Because even right now, even though villains is greenlit, nothing is substantial at this point. Nothing was actually depicted of like what is actually going to be part of this land. So, the Imagineers could still be kind of like contemplating on what to add to this, and then seeing how, as Slimer had mentioned, to see how like responsive guests are to this, because it definitely seems like the data is showing that everyone is leaning more towards Dark Universe. And if it is a hit, Disney is going to have their eyes on that and try to come up with their own kind of solution because they still have to keep it the Disney-fied way.
Right.
Be just as successful as Dark Universe.
You got it. Universal set the bar with these animatronics for this kind of land. Disney has to bring it with these animatronics. I want to see a massive Maleficent dragon animatronic that you weave through in some attraction or something, right? You got to really pull out all the stops. You can't cheap out on this. You can't go half-ass. You got to do it right.
Yeah, absolutely. There needs to be, look, the ball is in Universal's court right now. Disney has to respond with a Maleficent animatronic, if not multiple animatronics throughout the ride. There needs to be a dragon animatronic, potentially the recreation of the scene of what's his, I guess it's Prince Charming, right? The fights, right?
Prince Philip.
Yeah,
Prince Philip. Prince Philip fighting the dragon, swinging his sword with the shield. I mean, they have to go all out. They can't spare any expense. And if there's anything less, like if they do anything less than Monsters Unleashed, then they failed. Like Disney has to really bring the heat, because if they're doing, I mean, I can guarantee you these aren't their best animatronic. If they have 14, they're not showing you all their cards.
Yeah, because think about it. No, there's still the Phantom one we didn't see playing his little thing, like
the Mummy.
And the Mummy. Like, I feel like that would be like mind blowing, because if they're showing you this much this early, just wait.
Also the Invisible Man. The Invisible Man.
Yeah. There's actually like 50 animatronics of him because he's invisible.
Exactly. See, that's a really affordable animatronic. The whole place is packed with these. He's everywhere. No, but gentlemen, fantastic conversation today. I mean, this was really, I mean, between the animatronics and HHN, just a lot of great stuff from Universal. I'm
tomorrow, this will probably come out tomorrow. But so today, we will have got some news on the Vegas stuff, the Horror Unleashed. Universal is going to release some details on that, so stay tuned to their social media accounts.
Interesting. We're about to do a video on that, absolutely. But Mr. Wizard, where can everybody find you on social media? Where can they subscribe to your YouTube channel and all that good stuff?
You can subscribe to me on YouTube at Theme Park Wizard, and you can follow me on Theme Park Wizard on Threads, Blue Sky, Twitter, and all those other ones that I'm sure I'm missing, but I'm Theme Park Wizard everywhere, including Facebook.
There he is. Theme Park Wizard everywhere. Follow, subscribe to Mr. Theme Park Wizard. Italiano, where can they find you on social media, sir?
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base at Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner, with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
There he is. And last but certainly not least, Slimer. Thank you for joining us again, sir. Where can they find you on social media?
Hey, thanks very much for having me, guys. You guys can find me on X at SlimeSquare84. You guys can find me on YouTube at Orange Grove 55.
There he is. George, should we end this show like we always end this show?
Gotta end it with the Queen Bee.
With the Queen. Queen. Here she is. Let's go.
Thank you for watching OG55. If you aren't already, consider becoming a member today.